Hello everyone, Michael here for Tactica Imperialis. Welcome to today's video. Today is just going to be a quick little theorizing, theory crafting sort of video. Today I want to ask and answer a kind of question and then open it up to you in the comments to have a go at answering it for yourself. And the question that I've got to ask, if you've seen the title of this video, is can Chaos actually ever win? Odd question. And the answer to the question is, of course they can, but I'm not talking about can they defeat the Imperium. I'm talking about can they win forever? Will Chaos ever completely rule the galaxy? And my answer to that question is actually no. I don't think so. And I'll explain why. Okay, so this is probably going to include a little bit of old canon, so it may not be directly true now, but it is theorized that the Chaos Gods are basically built off of human emotion. They're the largest soul-bearing species in the galaxy, and they are the ones that create the most emotional imprint in the warp because there's just a lot of them. You could argue that the Eldar have quite a big imprint as well, but they're a very small race by comparison, so I think the human effect is much larger than the Eldar effect. As a result, the main force creating the emotions that create the Chaos Gods in the warp are human. So the Chaos Gods are tied to humanity. That's my theory. And in order to rule the galaxy, the Chaos Gods and the Force of Chaos must defeat the Emperor, and by extension, defeat humanity. That makes sense. To do that, well, that's a whole different story, but they've got to go through the Cadian Gate, through Terra, through Segmentum Solar, into Terra, take out the Emperor, yada yada yada, boom. Okay, the Emperor's dead. Great. The Emperor's dead, Chaos has won. That's all well and good, but what happens after that? Well, the Astronomicon goes out. The Emperor is what's powering the Astronomicon, so it goes out. What that means is that humanity can no longer travel through the warp. Period. It cannot see where it's going to die. A lot. And what that will mean is that all human systems and worlds will be cut off from one another. All they'll have is their own interplanetary system, their own solar system, if you will, and that's it. To protect themselves against all the myriad horrors of the galaxy. And they can't do it. No system is strong enough, except maybe Macragge, to hold. No system is big enough and strong enough. Even chapter planet systems cannot survive on their own. They need backup. They need resupply. The Space Marines rely on the Mechanicus. They rely on their Ordo Librarius to bring in new recruits. Yes, they can sort of keep themselves going for a while, but if they start losing gene seed because they can't recover it, then they'll start dying. And that means humanity will start dying. Any system without Space Marines, well, I would say Emperor helped them, but the Emperor's dead, so he can't. So it's just rip. Good night, Imperium. Good night, humanity. I mean, of course, the Chaos Forces can still take over a large area and try and keep those elements safe, because they need them, which I'll explain in a minute. But any area that Chaos cannot control is going to get wiped out, particularly where Orcs are concerned. Alright. Orcs, Tyranids, Dark Eldar, Necrons, anything that's not a Tau, maybe not an Eldar, and not a Chaos Marine, or Chaos equivalent, is going to murder them immediately. Straight up, end of discussion. Just the way it is. And that means that the number of humans in the galaxy is going to do that. It's going to plummet. What does that mean? There's far less stuff creating emotions in the warp. Yes, there's a lot of pain and torment and agony going into it right now being the death of the Emperor and the decade or so that follows. There'll be a lot of it right now, but as time goes on, that soul stuff is just not going to be there. There's not going to be any more imprint on the warp, or not enough imprint on the warp to sustain the Chaos Gods in their current state, which means the Chaos Gods are going to get weaker. Whether they'll die out, I doubt, because the Chaos Forces probably have enough numbers and they can control enough people to keep them going, but their power will drop because while there is a large number worshipping them, there's no other emotion feeding into them that they can feed off of and be empowered by. At least that's my theory. This is where it becomes very much theory crafting. And as a result, the Chaos Gods will get weaker. What does that mean? Well, it means that the powers of Chaos will get weaker. There will be less demons, less demon princes being created, less blessings on the Chaos Champions, and you could say less spawn, which is kind of a bonus, but there'll just be generally less non-mortal Chaos stuff going on. less power to create warp storms, less power in portals, less survivability for demons that get summoned, because there's just less stuff powering them. It may even be that demons have to blink out of existence and be absorbed back into their god just to keep the god going, or there is to keep him in his current state, so as they can keep doing what they're doing, I suppose. What does that mean? Of course, if Chaos gets weaker, well, just because humanity's dead doesn't mean the rest of the galaxy is dead. I mean, the Eldar might well go kaput alongside the Imperium because, well, once you take Terra, then the Eldar don't have that far to run. Eventually they'll breach the webway, and it's good night them. The Dark Eldar might hold, but they're keeping that. But even if we do discount the Eldar, they keep their souls as guarded as possible. They're not going to feed the Chaos Gods at all. Spirit stones and sacrificial stuff, they're not going to be a good fuel for Chaos. Orcs work on a crowd mentality rather than souls. They're not going to work. Tau have very little warp imprint. Necrons have no warp imprint. Tyranids have no warp imprint. There's nothing there that the Chaos Gods can become dominant over. They can't just dominate a species and make it into a godlike mentality. I mean, unless Khorne somehow batters Gork and Mork, which he can't because he's been weakened because there's less stuff going into him, then yeah, we have a problem. And that means that the Chaos Forces will be vulnerable and will basically turn into the Imperium. In a very roundabout way, the Chaos Forces will become like the Imperium has, fighting to sustain what they have with a weakened power at their head, that being the gods in this case rather than the Emperor, and threats from all sides that if they get through will collapse what they have, will collapse the gods and their power to a point where the race will just die. And that's why I don't think Chaos can win. Because if Chaos kills the Emperor, humanity dies a lot. The Chaos Gods don't have enough soul stuff to feed on, get weaker. And so eventually Chaos turns into the Imperium and we're doing Warhammer 50,000 with no loyalists. Or we are doing it with some loyalists, but only pockets of them, and they're kind of like the new Eldar, so to speak, the remnants of a dying race. Funny how that would happen. Anyway, that was just a little bit of a theory that I thought I would run past you. Obviously, I could be talking completely out of my rear end, and as a result, if I am, feel free to call me out in the comments below. Let me know what you think. See if this theory holds any water whatsoever. This is going to be my last video before Christmas, so I hope you all have a lovely holiday, whether you celebrate Christmas in our way, or you do your own thing, or you don't celebrate it at all. Have a good few days, enjoy it, and I will be hopefully coming with you a video on Boxing Day, unboxing the little bit of hobby that I get off of Kieran for Christmas, because he says he's got me something, so I might do a little unboxing on Boxing Day. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Michael for Tactica Imperialis, and until the next time, see you all again, folks.